The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
This is the Unnamed Podcast.
You're listening to the Unnamed Podcast, available on Spotify and Anchor.fm and everywhere else podcasts are available. And here is your host, Midnight Lunatic.
What is going on? It is Midnight Lunatic here, and I am bringing you again. This is the last final time, guys, on the Unnamed Podcast. Look, listen. So I know last episode kind of had mixed emotions from people. Okay, I know people were kind of sad and confused at what the situation was. Now, I thought I made it kind of clear that I wasn't giving up the podcast. Now, look, I know a lot of you out there might be thinking that I was giving it up. I'm not giving it up. I know some others were like kind of confused, like, are you giving it up or are you just rebranding? Now, I'm just rebranding. I know some of you were just like kind of playing along with it, like if I was quitting, because I know the title was kind of like clickbaitish, but it was supposed to be like that. It was supposed to be clickbaitish. It was supposed to make you think that I was leaving, but I'm not leaving the podcast. I'm only rebranding it. Now, what I want to do in this episode was, because we ended the episode in such a weird fashion last time, it wasn't like, what I was hoping it would be. I'm gonna bring you guys another episode. This one is just going to be a little bit more kind of taking back to our roots of how we all started. I kind of want to just take a trip down memory lane, if you will. I mean, starting from season 1, right? Season 1, I didn't know what I was gonna really be doing for the podcast, right? It was fresh for me. It was something that I didn't really know what I was going to be doing, right? It came to me one day. I was listening to this I've told this story before. I was listening to this podcast by a rapper of named Recognize. He's from Mayday, the crew Mayday, part of a Strange Music. Definitely something that I always listen to, a group that I always listen to from there. If you don't know what Strange Music is, if you ever heard of Tech Nine, which majority of people have, that is his music label, and that is Mayday is a group that is signed to that label. They make awesome music, different genre of music. I love it. But there is a rapper from that group named Recognize. He has a podcast called Get the Fuck Out of Here, GTFO, GTFOH podcast. And it was what inspired me to start a podcast of my own. I kind of saw, like a lot of people liked listening to what others have to say about different things and kind of give their opinion and kind of like start a debate, and I was like, I found that really interesting and really intriguing that I wanted to try it on my own. Now in season 1, I was very, very nervous. I mean, looking back, listening to it, if you guys want to go ahead and take a trip down memory lane with me, I was very, very nervous. Very nervous. I didn't have any plans. I kind of just picked up a mic and say, let me record something, right? I didn't know what ideas I had. I didn't have any ideas. That first episode was me winging it. Now, me nowadays, I'm more kind of set up with winging episodes. I did, however, in season 2, 3, and a little bit in like the start of season 4, I was planning everything out. Like I had, I would go through every single day for a week look through like just different things that I was wanting to talk about for that episode, right? And I would make this kind of like a template, like an outline of what I was going to be talking about. And that is how I would plan out my episodes every week for those seasons. And it came to the point where I wasn't finding anything really interesting. It was at that point of the COVID lockdown where everything was just kind of like blah. There wasn't really anything big happening out in the world. It was kind of just at a stalemate, and there wasn't really anything interesting or intriguing really going on. We didn't have any sports, things, and were closed still. Businesses, places were still closed down, and it was kind of in this stalemate of, well, there's really nothing to talk about, right? The only thing that was out there was music and movies. And even that, like it felt like it slowed down a lot. And it was just a weird time. And so I had to get creative. I had to think of other ways of bringing an episode out. I had to get creative and just start kind of just rambling on about just random things. I started talking about things in my personal life. And that was one of the biggest things that kind of threw me off, right? I was never in my intention to really get as depth into my life as I did on that last season, on this season, on season 4. It was something that I never really wanted to do. I didn't really intend on getting into my personal life, but I found that I needed to just express myself in a way where I felt like I was being heard, right? And since I'm not the type of guy that really individually reaches out to somebody, I felt like that was like the best way to like reach out to someone without not directly coming to them, And it was kind of like a therapy session for me. Like every week I would just talk about things going on in my life and things about, how I felt going on in my life at that time. That was my way of kind of reaching out to someone and saying, hey, like, this is what I'm going through. This is how I'm feeling. If you want to reach out to me, please do. But I'm not the type of guy to reach out to anyone. And so I didn't really mean for it to get as personal as it did. And now there is an episode, and I believe I've maybe said this before. There is an episode that I did last year sometime. I mean, this was months ago, and it got personal. I mean, I laid everything out on the line on this podcast episode, and there was a point where I had it scheduled to be uploaded for the next day. I sat on it for about an hour, and I was like, I can't upload it. It was too personal. It was too what's the word? Intimate into my own personal life to be sharing with people out there, right? That listen to my podcast, that I felt like it was just exposing myself to the point where someone could have manipulated what I was saying and doing to myself mentally in that episode, that they would use it against me in the future, right? And so I didn't want that to happen. And so I never released the album. To this day, it is sitting in my phone, in one of my folders. It's just sitting there. It's about a 45-minute long episode where I just went on and on about just things that was going on in my life at that time, how I felt. It got really personal, really intimate, and it got to the point where I was just in this depressed state. I didn't feel like I was being heard. It didn't feel like anyone really cared about myself. Like I didn't even care about myself, like I lost myself in that moment to where I just felt very vulnerable. And so there is the episode. I have never shared it with anyone, even my closest I have never showed anybody that. And to this day, since I last heard it when I recorded it, I am very scared to hear it, right? I have not played it since that day I recorded it because it was just too too much. Like just listening when I was editing it, it felt like it was just too much. And I was like, I cannot believe I was saying the things that I was saying in that episode. It was, when I tell you how personal it was, I mean, I was exposing myself, like straight up exposing. Like it was bad. And I just felt like it wasn't going to be a public thing. And it's still not going to be a public thing. But I just wanted to let you know that there is a secret hidden episode that will never be published. Now, there might come a day where I might listen to it myself just to kind of just hear what I was feeling at that time and kind of just not really relive that moment, but just kind of reflect on that moment of just where I was in that time, how I felt, and why I was feeling that way. And I want to use that as like motivation to keep pushing me up whenever I'm feeling down about myself, right? But I right now I'm too afraid to even open it and listen to it because it's just how personal and how in depth I was going into myself. I mean, it was kind of scary to even just record and to think that I was actually going to upload that. It, looking back at it now, was crazy. Like I would have, that would have been the end of the Unnamed Podcast. Like that would have been the end. Like I don't think I could have bounced back from what would have transpired if that was to have gone live. And so I'm kind of glad that I still have it. But it was very personal. And ever since then, I felt that the podcast was kind of going off the rails with just me being so personal that I didn't like the directions of what it was going. And so that's kind of where I was starting to think there is a need for change. There is a need for a rebrand, that there is a need to like just take it in a new direction. But I didn't want to just stop altogether. But like, I don't know. The past couple months have been super, super busy for me, just mentally draining. Not really like busy to the point where I had no time. It was just lack of motivation. It was just lack of not knowing what I was going to do and how to bounce back from just the direction that it was going. And the only reason why I recorded that last episode was because I had so many requests from people that were asking for an episode like that. That was me knowing that there's people out there that actually listen to my podcast and actually care about like what I have to say. And that made me feel good. Right. And so I felt like if I don't come back, I'm never going to have that willpower to actually do it again. And so I had to make that decision of just coming back and doing it. And I'm kind of glad that I did, because I mean, I miss doing this, right? I miss just ranting about things in my life and things like that. But what my plans are for the rebrand, I mean, I'm already starting to work on the new logo, the new look for the show. I mean, I have a concept idea of how I want it. I'm still got some tweaking to do. And I'm not even sure that's going to be the final product. But I am trying to get on that grind again with trying to get that going. It's going to definitely take some time. Like I said, I don't have any date of when that's actually going to happen. So for right now, Unnamed Podcast is still going to be the main thing right now. There's not going to be any more episodes until I get everything rebranded over. So this is unfortunately going to be the final episode. Now, the reason I am making this episode was because I felt it was really weird to just end the season on episode 14, right? There was 14 episodes to season 4, and I felt it was kind of weird number to leave on, right? I usually, stop at 10 season 1 through 3, I stopped at 10 episodes per season. And this season 4, I was originally planning on going to 20. I was going to double it. But then after episode 10, I felt myself just slowly declining and just slowly like not really wanting to record, because I felt like the direction that I was going was just me just talking about things going on in my life, and me just like, kind of crying about shit that I was like, why am I even doing this anymore? Like, this is not what I wanted it to be. It was not supposed to be just me just crying over some bullshit that's happening in my life. Like, that's not what I wanted to do. That's not how I envisioned it to go. So I kind of I took a break. I stepped away. And now that I know that people actually listen and people care about what I have to say and want more of it, I'm like, I can't just quit. I can't just stop. Right. So yeah, that's why I kind of want to do this episode, which is to kind of just end it right. End it on a decent number. 15. Episode 15 is the last and final episode, and this is going to be put up as a bonus episode. This is not even like a regular episode. This is just a bonus episode because I kind of just wanted to clear the waters, talk a little bit more about the direction, and kind of just take a look back at the Unnamed Podcast, because it did really do a lot for me. I mean, it kind of opened a lot of new opportunities and a new outlook on things. And some of the things, there are those ups and downs, but I enjoy it. It was something new that I had to challenge myself with, right? It was me trying to find that comfort zone between me just sitting in a room in silence by myself like I am now, and just talking to myself, right? Knowing that other people are going to be listening to what I have to say, and just having a conversation to myself. Now, there were some guests along the way, and I thank those people for actually coming on the show with me and joining me for those episodes. I did have really, really great time recording, and hopefully within the new rebranding name and setup, maybe we can do it again. Maybe we can create some of those memories and take another trip down memory lane on the Unnamed Podcast. But as of right now, I don't really have any plans, like set plans for anything on the rebranding yet. Like I said, I have kind of like a new logo, new look that I'm looking for right now, that I'm currently working on. I spent the last 2 days kind of doing the logo on how I kind of envision it. I'm not too dead set on it, but I am liking the way it's coming out. But yeah, this is going to be a bonus episode for you guys. I just felt like treating you guys and kind of just ending it on the correct note, because I felt like last episode kind of just ended abruptly. I didn't really go too much into it as far as like explaining myself on why I was stepping away, why I was gone for so long, why I wanted to rebrand, everything. I didn't feel like I felt like I just kind of left you guys in the dark. Like, okay, you come back for one episode, but you're saying you're leaving, and I didn't like that, and so I just felt like I had to come on again, end it the right way, clear the water, and just answer a lot of people's questions about what's going to happen. So for anyone out there that's thinking that I am permanently done with the show, I'm not. It's not over. Unnamed Podcast is still going to be around, but it is going to be rebranded to a different look, a different name. And there is going to be a new, I wouldn't say season, but like, I guess a new season, right? Like I said, I don't have any plans as far as a release date of when that's going to happen. But once we get further down the line, once I have everything set, I will definitely let you know. I definitely am excited to reveal the new logo once it is complete, once it is finalized. Definitely will be sharing the new look on my Instagram, my Facebook page, and anywhere else that I can actually send that out to. I know I had to change a couple things as far as my Discord server. I had to shut that down. I felt like it was too much work, right? To like have so many social links. And I felt like Discord was one of those where it just wasn't getting enough traction. I wasn't getting enough exposure to like the actual Discord server. So I kind of felt like it was just best to shut it down, and just stick with the main Facebook channel, and the podcast and everything like that, and YouTube. That's where I get the majority of my viewers, my listeners, is from those three things: Facebook, Spotify, and YouTube. I do want to start getting back into making YouTube videos again too. I know it's been a while. The last one that I did was that hot, sunflower seed challenge, which, man, when I say it killed me, I'm not exaggerating. But definitely want to do more food review videos for you guys. I know a lot of people enjoyed those snack review videos where I was eating, the foreign snacks and foods from across the seas and from the world. I definitely want to do more, but getting my hands on those right now is definitely going to be tough. I know there's a couple more stores that opened up around me that do sell foreign exotic snacks. But the price range right now is not in my budget. They are kind of expensive to get. So it is something that I'm not going to be able to get to right away. But hopefully in the near future, I'll be able to actually do it again. Because I definitely want to get into food reviewing a lot more. I feel like a lot of people kind of enjoy that. And I definitely enjoy eating it and tasting what other countries have to offer, even if it means staying local into the actual country, but trying snacks from different states that are not available where I am locally. So I felt like it was pretty good. Like I can experience new flavors and new candy ideas and new chip ideas that who would have thought that would have been possible, right? For instance, like the chips from Japan that were the steak flavored, right? They legit tasted like steak, and it was amazing, and I love those. I kind of want to get more. I wish the bag was bigger because it was delicious. Like if you wanted a steak dinner, but you couldn't afford a steak dinner, get you one of those bags of chips because it's basically going to be the same thing. Definitely had that steak flavor. It was delicious. And the Skittles from Japan, man, I'm not exaggerating. Best Skittles I've ever had in my life. And I've had regular Skittles since I recorded that. And I will tell you now that Skittles in the United States have nothing on the Skittles from Japan. Japan uses real sugar. They don't use that artificial sweetener stuff. And they use like natural like colors, they don't use like the harsh food dyes that the United States uses. And so it felt better. It has a better texture, better flavor. It just all around was better. And I loved it. And I loved it. I want to get more so bad. Just thinking about it kind of makes my mouth water up. But I'm kind of going off track with what I was saying. I definitely want to do more food review videos. I really enjoyed those. Definitely want to do more challenges, not just spicy stuff. I know people like seeing me suffer, but my body is not able to handle it. So I definitely want to do more challenges that are not really spicy food related. I definitely want to try to get people involved. I just wish I could match up schedules so that way it is possible to do, because having guests on my show, having guests on my YouTube channel, I believe is going to be a very big thing. And I know a lot of people are going to enjoy it because it's not just me all the time, right? It's always nice to see something new, and that's definitely what I want to try to do. Um, but yeah, I definitely want to do that. I definitely want to try doing like reviews on like videos, kind of like a reaction type thing to videos, maybe like music videos or other videos that I find interesting. I definitely want to try that. I've tried doing like a prototype kind of thing, like where I recorded myself doing it. And then while I was in the editing, I didn't really like my reactions to the videos. I felt like I was just too boring compared to like others that I've seen before, like the way that their reaction was. Like mine was just kind of like, okay, like, yeah, all right, that's pretty cool. I like that, and I was like, I wasn't really I wasn't using my full potential on it, right? Like I felt like I was kind of like forcing myself to do it. And I think it was because I was so uncomfortable with doing it. But I definitely want to try doing that, getting more comfortable. I definitely want to try to step outside my comfort zone and do things that I haven't tried before. And hopefully, maybe it'll work out. Maybe, it'll start something that, is new for me and a new challenge, and it'll open up new doors for me to walk through. So I definitely want to try some new things. Definitely trying to explore, what skills I can build. As it's the same with doing a podcast and making videos as it is with finding a job, and doing my own personal thing, right? I definitely wanted to do new things in my life. Like for instance, I've never actually been to an NFL game. I've never been to an NBA game. I've never been to a hockey game. I've never been, to like an actual sporting events other than baseball. I've been to concerts before, but it's always like the same type of concerts. It's never like anyone else. It's always the same person, even though they do bring different people with them. It's always the same like main artist that I go see. So definitely want to explore more on that side, like going to different things as far as like EDC, Electric Dance Carnival, which is something that I've always wanted to go to because I like that type of music. And I feel like the vibe there is just too hype not to want to go, right? If you ever see videos on EDC, I mean, you'll definitely be like, that looks like a party. Like, damn, I want to go, because it's definitely a party. And the fact that it takes up a whole weekend, I mean, by the end of it, you're probably dead, but definitely worth the time and the experience. And so that's something that I want to do, and hopefully I am able to do that some point in my life. But yeah, it's just trying out new things and trying to just explore more in life than I wouldn't think I would be able to do. So I definitely want to do that. And yeah, I don't know, guys. I feel like this is definitely a perfect opportunity to just change a lot of things in my life, and change things in general with how I want things to go and the outlook of things. Definitely trying my best to keep afloat. Definitely try my best to kind of just be that role model, that support system that I once was, because I felt like I was lacking that for a long time. That I would give people advice, but never really use it for my own personal use, right? And I felt like I haven't done that in a while, where I was in that state where I would give advice. I haven't done that in a very long time, and that was because I don't even know, like I don't even know about myself no more. So I'm kind of just rebuilding. And that's what this is all about. It's just me rebuilding, not only the podcast, not only my YouTube channel, not only, everything on social media, but myself as well. And definitely looking forward to some changes. Definitely looking forward to seeing what happens and what the outcome's going to be. But yeah, I mean, Midnight Lunatic is still here. Midnight Lunatic is always going to be around. I just feel like right now is definitely the time where I need to make a change for the better. And hopefully I can keep my promise on delivering for you guys. Now that I know how much my podcast actually means to some people out there, definitely makes me know that I'm heard, and feeling heard is definitely something that I can't just let slip away, right? It always feels good to feel like you're heard. It always feels good to know that people listen. And that's what you guys gave to me. This is my platform to speak my mind, give my opinion on things. And I definitely want to stick in my roots with giving you guys the content that I know I can give you guys. But yeah, I just wanted to make this very, very special for you guys one last time. Kind of just clear up things like I've said before 1,000 times already. I know I keep repeating myself, but I'm just trying to just make sure that you guys understand that I'm not going nowhere. I'm still here. There are some changes that are going to happen, and I will definitely keep you guys updated when I have things available for you guys to view and listen to. But until then, just be patient with me. Again, not giving away any spoilers. Not really going to tell you too much about what's going to happen. I know a lot of people are like kind of wondering already what's going to happen. I have some messages that are kind of like giving me advice on what they want to hear, what they want to see in the next journey, next chapter of the podcast. So it's definitely awesome that I have people that want to give advice and want to give their suggestions. A lot of name suggestions for the podcast too, but I have it set already. I had the day where the poll went up, didn't really have too many interactions. There was some name suggestions that I was seeing, but I'm dead set in the one that I chose. Not going to say what it is. You guys are just going to have to wait and find out what that name choice is. But I can definitely tell you that I like the name personally. I feel like it's going to be a good fit for my persona that I put on as the Midnight Lunatic. I know I am not as crazy as a lunatic really is, but sometimes lunatics are chill, right? Sometimes lunatics are laid back, right? They kind of just hide away from everyone and just kind of just keep themselves until the time is right for them and just flip on the switch, right? So that's what I'm doing. I'm just taking my time. I'm waiting for that opportunity to just flip the switch and turn on my lunatic self, right? But anyways, guys, signing off for the very, very last time on the Unnamed Podcast, and I'm for real this time. This is the very, very last episode for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed listening. I hope it kind of cleared up some of the questions that you guys have or had. If I didn't get to your question, definitely sorry about that. But I felt like these were the questions that I got really asked the most, and these were questions, the bigger questions that I felt like I needed to answer for you guys. So yeah, I mean, just taking a look back from season 1, season 2, it was nerve-wracking. Didn't really know what I was doing. Season 3 had more of a clue of what I was wanting to do. And then season 4 unlocked the personal side of me that I didn't really think I would ever really do. But it happened. But anyways, I'm out. Hopefully you guys will appreciate this one. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next journey, next chapter of the Unnamed Podcast. And we'll see you on the other side, guys. Until then, I love you guys. Stay safe, and remember to always be yourself. Never change for anyone. And love you guys. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.